What's up, sports history fan? Dana Augusta here of the Historically Speaking Sports Podcast. Ever wish you can get behind the scenes access to the Hockey Hall of Fame and dive into the untold stories that shaped the game? Then you need to check out Hockey Hall of Fame True Stories Part 2 by Eric Zweig. Eric's latest book is packed with wild, unexpected tales from epic rivalries and game-changing moments to quirky incidents like polo injuries and snowblower mishaps. Eric Zweig's impeccable research and passion for the sport of hockey will whisk you through the NHL's early years, the origins of the Three Stars tradition, and how hockey first hit the airwaves. Plus, you get fresh takes on legends like Wayne Gretzky, Bobby Hall, and Joe Sakic. Hockey Hall of Fame True Stories 2 is available now wherever you get your books. Grab your copy and get ready to dive deep into the heart of the game.
Hello, this is Ross Bliley from the podcast Pigskin Tales. This podcast is sponsored by Sterling Soap Company. With products sold throughout 41 locations around the globe, Sterling Soap Company has a unique assortment of products to choose from for your loved one for the holidays. Handmade artisan soaps created by Roderick and Amanda Lovin since 2012, these products are affordable and provide great value. Act now and save on your shipping costs. If you purchase $75 or more, your shipping cost is free in the United States. Shop now online at sterlingsoap.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, old sports, and welcome to another episode of the Hello, Old Sports podcast on the Sports History Network. I'm Dan Newman. I am joined, as always, by my co-host and brother, Andrew Newman. Andrew, how are you doing tonight?
I am doing well, Dan. It's an episode where I didn't have to study at all and actually was discouraged, so that made things a lot easier.
Yes, we have decided before we get into the end of year craziness with In Memoriam and having to record with all of our colleagues and figure out times and prep for a bunch of guys, who've passed away this year that we maybe, some require more research than others. We thought we would do something a little bit different tonight, and we're going to have a New York sports trivia contest between Andrew and myself. We did something similar, almost 4 years ago now with the Super Bowl trivia. That did not go particularly well because I obviously couldn't really read the questions before I chose them. So we ended up with a book, and every question was about Florida in some way. And even though the book said it was published in 2021 or 2020, like the question would be like, as of 2003, how many? So we made the best of it, but this is it's called You Gotta Know New York. And it is a trivia game. They actually have these for any number of cities. I actually bought this at the Babe Ruth Museum a couple of months back, and I thought it would be a good idea for a podcast episode. I will admit that when I first bought the set, I looked at some of the questions one time just to kind of get an idea of what kind of questions they were, but I do not remember them, and so I think it should be a fair fight. Before we start, I should introduce our guest for the evening, our trivia host who's taking her job very seriously, my lovely wife, Allison. Allison, how are you doing?
I'm doing excellent tonight. Very happy to join and to have actual questions to ask you both this time.
Are you looking forward to this?
I am. I'm looking forward to seeing if Andrew will beat you.
All right.
I usually cheer for Andrew in family trivia events.
The last time we recorded an episode like this, I was Andrew and I were both on our couch here in the basement, and Allison came down for a little while. That was our live watch of Super Bowl 42. So this is something a little different. But so I think what we're going to do is we'll just start. We'll go back and forth. It's sort of like we did last time. You can hold the board. The questions have different point values based on the cards. So Andrew will answer until he gets a question wrong, and then I'll have a chance to steal. If I steal, then it's whether I steal it or not, it's still my turn to start answering questions, but I also have the chance to answer his questions. The point values are 1, 3, 5, and 7. We'll give an idea. And this is really, obviously this is fun for us, but it's also something fun for the listeners, especially those of you who happen to be New York sports fans.
That
So
remains to be seen.
what's that?
If it's fun for the listeners.
So with no further ado, why don't we kick it over to Allison and she will begin the questioning.
All right. I've been shuffling these cards for a while, but they're still in chunky order, so we'll deal with that as we go. This is going to be a 3-point card. Andrew, the first question. In a 1979 game against the Colorado Rockies, what Islanders netminder became the first goaltender credited with scoring an NHL goal?
That would be Billy Smith.
That would be correct.
All right. So there's 3 in my column.
Yes.
At first, I was like, we're already when you said 1979 game Colorado Rockies, I was like, we're already not off to a great start here with these cards.
Is that the Colorado Rockies? That's the team that became the Devils, right?
Yes.
There you go. So 2 New York sports.
That's not any points. Don't try to, oh, well, that's a point.
I'm controlling the point board. It will be done very fairly.
Okay.
Our next question, again for 3 points. What actor, best known for roles in Goodfellas and NBC's Law and Order, played Joe Torre in the 1997 movie Curveballs Along the Way?
So he was known for Goodfellas and Law and Order?
Yep.
Oh, it's got to be Paul Sorvino.
That is correct.
So how many points was that?
Another 3.
It's another 3-pointer.
Okay.
Andrew's keeping tally because he doesn't trust me to not gyp him, I think.
That's not true.
I'm just kidding.
That have something to do with my
Have you ever seen that movie?
Goodfellas?
No, the Joe Torre movie.
No.
It's pretty terrible. It came out like right after the 96 series. It was free on one of the streaming services for a while, but it's like they don't really do any action shots. So it basically, it's like they show players on the field. I forget whether it's like clips of the actual games or not. And then it's just flashes to Paul Sorvino sitting there in what's supposed to be the dugout, just kind of in the dark. It's pretty brutal.
It sounds like it.
All right. What ABA team did Lou Carnesecca coach from 1970 to 1973 during his 3-season hiatus from St. John's?
I'm going to guess the New York Nets.
You are correct. Again, 3 points. And lastly, I think you both probably should get this since I've seen you play this game so many times. What member of the Giants was the last active NFL player to be featured in the classic Nintendo video game Tecmo Super Bowl?
Sean Landetta.
Jeff Fiegels.
Oh, crap.
So I wouldn't have known it, but I would have guessed Landetta also.
Was I supposed to give you a chance?
I would
guess
point
it?
out that I didn't get my chance to steal, so
Okay.
that's okay.
Wait, I thought once he got one wrong, you stole anyhow.
But no, but I get a chance to answer his question.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well we'll fix that on the next time.
But I don't think I would have known that one.
Okay.
So I would have although what? Go ahead.
Because Landetta's on the Giants in that game.
Correct.
Fiegels was a Giant. Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Give me half a point for that.
I'm not giving you 1.5 points. That's just not how it works.
Beagles was the punter on the first championship team, right?
No, who was the Packers punter?
No, the first Coughlin championship team.
Yes. Yeah, the 07 Giants. 11 was Weatherford.
Okay. All right. So
Give me two more points for that.
All right.
So these are the next few are 2-point questions.
These are 2-point cards. While Scott Norwood is remembered for his miss in the same game, who kicked the game-winning field goal for the Giants with exactly 8 minutes left in Super Bowl 25?
Matt Barr.
That is correct.
He also kicked the game-winning field goal the week before against the 49ers.
That was not one of the questions. In 1984, the Yankees retired uniform number 9 in order of what record-breaking outfielder?
Roger Maris.
Some of these are kind of easy.
Hold on. They waited until Greg Nettles left the team before they retired it for Roger Maris, though.
In the words of the legendary Bob Gino Morello, we don't need any lengthy dissertations here.
Wait, hold on. Bob? His first name was Bob?
Robert Morella.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
With injuries to to starters Phil Simms and Joe Montana, what two quarterbacks finished the 1990 NFC Championship game between the Giants and the 49ers?
Steve Young and Jeff Hostetler.
Yes.
I will have the audience know Andrew is currently holding up a 1980s rubber wrestling figure of Ken Patera and also of Ted Arcidi. But is it like bodybuilder week for the wrestling figures in your room?
Yeah, I hadn't changed them in a while, so I figured I would put the two of them in there. This episode is going to be brutal for anyone who's not us, but
I think your dad will probably enjoy it. Later, a Super Bowl MVP with the Redskins in 1974, who became the first Jets running back to rush for 1,000 yards in a single season?
Okay, later a Super Bowl MVP with the Redskins, and then it's a comma.
Comma in 1974.
In 1974, so he did what we're talking about in 1974.
Correct. You could not have the first part of that sentence, and it would still be the same question.
John Riggins.
That is correct. All right, we have finished this 2-point card, and we now move on to a 3-point card.
Once John Riggins once told Sandra Day O'Connor to lighten up at a reception in D.C. He said, "You look uptight, Sandy. Lighten up." No, I'm telling you the truth.
Okay.
What are the point levels for this card?
This is a 3-level card. Serving from 1995 to 1998, who preceded Brian Cashman as general manager of the Yankees?
Bob Watson.
That is correct. In 1990, at age 19 years and 28 days, what American beat Andre Agassi in straight sets to become the U.S. Open's youngest ever male singles champion?
Pete Sampras?
Yes.
All right.
That was a guess.
Yes, it was.
In 2014, what Knicks guard was fined $50,000 for, and I quote, recurring instances of unsportsmanlike conduct, end quote, after twice attempting to untie the shoelace of an opponent?
Was that J.R. Smith?
That was J.R. Smith.
God, he was such a disaster on the Knicks. He really was just,
What team did the Islanders sweep in 1983 to win their 4th consecutive Stanley Cup?
Edmonton Oilers?
oh, come on.
Yes, that is correct.
Because then Edmonton beat them the following year in the finals, right?
Now, here's a question. Should I go to the 7-point card next now that you've been running the table for 2 cards, or should we continue with another 3?
I think however you want to do it is fine.
I think we should go to, I think this will
Nobody's
get
going
boring
to be listening
for our,
anyway. So.
What'd you say?
I said nobody's going to be listening anyway. So.
What is the current point total?
the current point total is Dan with 20 and Andrew with 9. That also, we'll just keep going.
I got a hockey and a tennis question, which was big.
Yes, but you got very easy hockey and tennis questions.
Okay.
This is a 3-point card. What backup catcher hit a 10th inning home run to beat the Diamondbacks in Game 4 of the 1999 NLDS and send the Mets to the NLCS to face the Braves?
Todd Pratt.
Yes. All right. In what 2009 song featuring Alicia Keys does Jay-Z boast, "I made the Yankee hat more famous than a Yankee can"?
Empire State of Mind.
Yeah,
Theme song of the '09 Yankees.
of course. Let's start that over. Though legally blind in his left eye, what 2-time Pro Bowl wide receiver caught 438 passes for 8,306 yards over a 13-year NFL career from 1977 to 1989, spent entirely with the Jets?
Wes Walker.
Yeah.
Wesley Walker.
Yeah.
Wow.
Pulled that out of nowhere. What head coach was fired from the Knicks after a 4-18 start to the 2000? I keep saying the wrong century. Let's start this one over. What head coach was fired from the Knicks after a 4-18 start to the 2019-2020 season, leaving New York with an overall record of 21-83 and a winning percentage of .202?
The 2019-2020 season?
Mm-hmm. This is going to trip you up because there's been so many coaches.
Yeah, that is. Hornacek?
No. Andrew?
So it was the 2019-2020 season?
Correct.
Oh, what the heck was the guy's name? It's not Derek Fisher. It's not Hornacek. Who was the guy who was in Memphis? David Fizdale?
That is correct.
God, I forgot he was even the coach.
Stolen back from...
I forgot he was even the coach.
Clearly.
I really did.
This is what happens when your team was bad for so many years.
Yeah, and they keep firing coaches. It's like the Giants.
All right. Next up is a 7-point card here, which Andrew could put you right back in the take the lead.
That's patronizing.
What was that?
I said that's patronizing.
I didn't mean it in a patronizing way. All
Go
right.
ahead.
All right, let's see how we do here. What personal trainer of Roger Clemens and Andy Pettitte gained notoriety following the release of Major League Baseball's 2007 George J. Mitchell report?
I'm gonna know the name when it's said, but I don't recall it off the top of my head.
Do you recall it off the top of your head?
McNamee?
Yes, Brian McNamee.
Brian McNamee.
Oh, dear.
I had Graham McNamee in my head, who was the first guy ever to broadcast a World Series on radio in like 1922, but all I needed was the last name.
All right. This is another 7-point question. Back to Dan. What goaltender turned away 73 of 75 shots in the Islanders' Easter epic 4-overtime victory over the Capitals that ended on Easter Sunday, April 19th, 1987?
Was that also Billy Smith?
That was not Billy Smith. Andrew?
Was that Ron Hextall?
No, a gentleman by the name of Kelly Hrudey, Hrudey.
Just for the record, I know Ron Hextall was primarily a Flyers goalie. I had it in my head that maybe he was with the Islanders for a little while. That might be wrong, but I just want to clear up that while I don't know much hockey, I'm not that clueless, although maybe I am.
You were also about 330 days old when this happened, so perhaps we will let it slide.
Is that the criteria for the questions?
Well, I'm just saying in this one. All right, Andrew, this is going back to you.
Oh, nice.
What two Hall of Fame head coaches matched wits when the Jets faced the Colts in Super Bowl III?
That would be Weeb Eubank and Don Shula.
That would be correct.
They were actually Shula. They had gone down there. Shula turned the players loose. No bed check. That was actually Weeb Eubank. The Colts were having quality football practices. Shula actually had to call off the dogs because they were beating each other to death.
So that's a quote from the video, the 1980s Super Bowl video that we used to rent from the video store constantly. You know who that is saying that? That's actually Bill Curry, who I interviewed for Hello Old Sports.
Did you ask him any question? Did you only ask him questions about that?
No, I asked him at the end, though. Like, if I asked him at the end if winning Super Bowl V made up for losing Super Bowl III, and he basically said no. It's like, no, not really. So
you should ask some questions specifically about that video. Anyway, it's still my turn. I'm on a runner here.
It is.
This ties it up if I get this.
All right. In what year did Jackie Robinson break the baseball color barrier by starting at first base for the Brooklyn Dodgers in an April 15th game against the Boston Braves?
1947.
That's a 7-point question.
That is a 7-point. I know. I was reading and I was like, this just seems unfair. This is a very, I mean, the head coach's question for you two was also a pretty easy one.
No, but that's, I mean, I don't know. To me, that should not be a 7-point question. Yeah. Anyway,
well,
these are now.
You do not.
What is the score?
The score currently is Dan 36. Andrew 26, and we're on to a 2-point card, Andrew.
It's closer than I thought. I got to get all these. But...
Yes. Let's see how we do here. All right. The first question. In 2000, an errant throw from Yankees second baseman Chuck Knobloch sailed into the crowd and struck the face of what then Fox broadcaster's mother?
Keith Olbermann.
Correct. I wasn't sure you were going to get that one. I guess if you probably remember that. All right. Oh, God. I take offense to after reading this. I take issue with reading this question, but I shall do it anyhow for the sake of this game. What Giants defensive end sacked Tom Brady twice in Super Bowl 42? 42. And repeat 50?
42.
42, yeah. And repeated the feat with two more in Super Bowl 56. 46. Okay. Roman numerals.
It's Justin Tuck.
I know. I knew you knew who it was going to be. All right.
I don't know that the Giants have won 10 games since then, so
well, I mean, they're kind of both chasing the bottom of the barrel this year together, so we have that in common now.
It's comparable.
All right. Before being rocked by a point shaving scandal, what New York City schools basketball team won both the 1950 NCAA men's tournament and the 1950 NIT?
This would be CCNY.
Yes.
Nobody beat the spread. I bought a Black Fleetwood.
And that is from?
That's from The Sopranos.
This is the most self-indulgent. This is the most self-indulgent thing we've ever done. But who cares? It's fun. If nobody
You're
listens,
having fun. We can continue at the Christmas table or Thanksgiving table, whatever holiday we see you.
Here is the thing I will say. We always go, the podcast is like conversations we used to have. We have to research this, or at least I do. This is the dynamic that's most close.
1,000%. Yes. This has Trivial Pursuit written all over it.
Answering questions and then offering a bunch more information to show how much you know, making tenuous references to things. This is the dynamic of yes. But anyway,
I don't think that Sopranos reference was particularly tenuous, but
all right.
Well,
I believe I have the floor.
You do have the floor. In fact, you do. Directed by Billy Crystal, what 2001 HBO film stars Barry Pepper as Roger Maris and Thomas Jane as Mickey Mantle in a quest to break Babe Ruth's single-season home run record?
That would be 61 asterisk.
Yes. Technically on here it said asterisk 61, but I'm going to use my judging powers to say that is correct.
And that's also just wrong.
Yeah.
It's not asterisk 61. That's incorrect.
Well,
Like something you press on something you press on an old phone to get
star 69.
Yeah.
All right. We have moved on to a 3-point card, which perhaps
by the way, real quick on star 69. I didn't realize you paid for that. So when I was in high school, I did it like 50 times to see if a girl I liked it called, and my father was not pleased. I didn't know it wasn't free. I thought it was just like a phone trick. I didn't realize it was a thing you paid for.
59 cents every time.
I didn't realize there was a girl involved. I thought you just did it just to be just because you were bored and curious.
Here, let's pretend that was the answer.
We have editing power to, make that the answer if necessary.
Sure.
All right. On to our 3-point card. After being traded from the Yankees to the Cardinals, what outfielder earned the NL Rookie of the Year award in 1981, a World Series ring in 82, the NL MVP award in 1985?
So it's traded from the Yankees to the Cardinals.
Yes.
Is that Ozzie Smith?
You get the chance to steal. I agree.
Willie McGee.
That is correct.
I didn't. Yeah, that's all right. That's right. Ozzie Smith is on the Cubs. I blanked on that.
Let's get a score.
A score update.
A score update.
All right. So with that steal,
Ozzie Smith was on the Padres.
Dan is at 39, and Andrew is at 34.
All right. Let's do it.
What Flatbush Ballpark did the Brooklyn Dodgers call home from 1913 until 1957?
Ebbets Field.
That is correct. See, that to me feels like a 1-point question. Following his Hall of Fame induction in 2006, what linebacker said serving as the lone Giants captain, the Broncos had 9, for Super Bowl 21 coin toss was about the coolest feeling I ever had in the world?
Harry Carson.
That is correct. In 1990, George Steinbrenner was suspended from day-to-day operations of the Yankees after paying gambler Howie Spira to dig up dirt on what outfielder?
Dave Winfield.
Correct.
That's a great documentary on, what is that, on Prime?
We just watched that.
Yeah, about the
Peacock
90.
it was. On the 90 team, it was on Peacock.
Oh, it was on
Peacock,
Peacock. Okay.
yeah.
The 90 Yankees. Yeah. Oof.
Oh, he's a interesting man. All right, again, a 3-point card. In Hall of Fame linebacker Harry Carson's 1987 book, Point of Attack, what nose tackle and Giants teammate does he credit with starting the tradition of the Gatorade shower?
Jim Burt.
Correct.
And I think he just did it to be a jerk. Like, I don't think he did it to celebrate. I think he just decided that he wanted to pour Gatorade on Bill Parcells because he didn't like him.
Well, Bill Parcells probably didn't like it very much either. All right. Along we go. Along with former teammates Joe Morris and Harry Carson, what longtime Giants linebacker co-owned the New Jersey Red Dogs of the Arena Football League at the team's inception in 1997?
There's a lot of questions about Harry Carson on this. I am going to say Lawrence Taylor.
That is incorrect. Andrew, over to you.
So it said along with former teammates, which
Joe
linebacker
Morris
is
and Harry Carson, what longtime Giants linebacker co-owned the New Jersey Red Dogs for its inception in 97?
I'll go with Carl Banks.
That is correct. All right. Who served as the Jets head coach for just one season, missing the playoffs with a 9-7 record before resigning in January of 2000 to accept the same position with his alma mater, the University of Virginia?
That would be Al Groh.
That would be correct.
When you said who served as the Jets head coach for just one,
I know. When I was reading it too, I was like, I resigned as
for the record,
of the NYJ.
As I'm drinking a Marcus Camby beer.
Oh,
it was brewed in Massachusetts, and it's got UMass colors. It's in honor of his UMass playing days. But since he was a Knicks great, I will hope that inspires me. So,
didn't he officially not ever actually play for UMass? Isn't that the current?
Oh, maybe technically, yeah.
I mean, if Reggie Bush got his Heisman back, anybody's going to get reinstated. All right, moving on. Beginning in 1949, this is going to be so easy for you. 1949. How many consecutive World Series championships did the Yankees string together?
5.
Yes. And if I asked you to name all of the years and who they played, you would also be able to do that.
We've definitely done that on this podcast.
Yes, probably. Okay, we have another.
I get a little tripped up with the ones in the 30s, but I think I can do it. Yeah.
I bet you both can. Maybe that will be a podcast someday. You both can just kind of spew them out as fast as you can. Okay, another 3-point card here. What former UCLA All-American set a Grand Slam record when he took just 1 hour and 18 minutes to defeat Ken Rosewall and win the 1974 U.S. Open?
I don't know.
Jimmy Connors?
You're correct. Nick.
All right.
All right. So with that, just a quick score update here. $54-43 in favor of Dan.
It's close.
All right. All right. Now we have what Yankee Stadium public address announcer called the Voice of God by Reggie Jackson started in 1951 and worked his last game in 2007 at the age of 97.
Bob Shepard.
Yes.
He also did Giants game.
The fact that Reggie Jackson attributed anybody to having tendencies like God except himself is the real shock there.
Yeah. All right. In a 2003 game, Go ahead.
Is it my turn?
No.
I got the last question.
Didn't.
Okay.
We're recording this, so we can always go back for the record. You should you should have like one of those like red flags or something and just thrown it when you wanted to challenge. In a 2003 game against the Clippers, what volatile Knicks swingman set an NBA record by connecting 9 of 9 on 3-pointers at the time, the most in a game without a miss?
Latrell Sprewell?
That is correct.
The volatile was
That
the hint.
gave it away, I know. Some of these, I wish I should change some of the questions to make them harder. Okay. What 2 wide receivers were selected ahead of Odell Beckham Jr. in the 2014 draft? One by the Bills and one by the Bucks.
Oh, God, I'm not going to get this. Stephon Diggs and I don't even know who the other one is. I have no idea.
Andrew?
What was the year?
2014.
I feel like one of them was Kenny Britt. Can you tell me if that one's right so I can stop?
You can stop. And
Okay.
Sammy Watkins and Mike Evans.
Oh, okay. All right.
All right. So you didn't steal, however, you didn't steal there. So we shall move on. And we now have a 7-point card. There's actually 2 7-point cards in a row here. So this could be a big swing. In what round did the Rangers select Henrik Lundqvist in the 2000 NHL entry draft? The same draft in which the Islanders made Rick DiPietro, former BU goalie, the overall first pick. That's hard.
The 12th.
No. You got to guess?
The 4th.
No. The 7th.
That is hard.
Yeah. So I was gonna say,
it's not hard if you're a Rangers fan.
How many rounds does the NHL have? Like if they only have 7 rounds or something like that, maybe there's something notable to that. All right. This is a 7-point question. What pinch runner stole second in the bottom of the 9th to spark the Red Sox rally and the Yankees collapse in Game 4 of the 2004 ALCS?
So I think we should do how when a player breaks their leg or something and they let them score 2 points at the beginning of the game and then the other team scores 2 points. I think we should both refuse to answer this on principle.
Well, I think we could ask who got on for him to pinch run for. That might be a little bit better of a question.
Kevin Millar walked, and it was Dave Roberts who stole second base.
Okay, fine. You're getting your 7 points.
And then 20 years later, broke the Yankees' heart in the postseason again.
I'm Team Dave Roberts. I'm sorry.
Yes, you are.
In 1996, who hit 41 home runs for the Mets, the highest single season total in team history and the most ever by a catcher in Major League Baseball history?
Most would say Mike Piazza, and most would be wrong. It was Todd Hundley.
You're correct. What righty tossed a complete game 1 hitter, shutting out the Giants to clinch the 2000 NLDS and send the Mets to an NLCS matchup with the Cards?
So I was at this game, Bobby Jones.
You're correct.
In the 9th inning, they were chanting Russo sucks because Mad Dog had been talking about the Mets all week.
All right, we move on. What lefty, who both started and ended his career with the Yankees, pitched the Mets into the playoffs with a 2-hit shutout against the Reds in a 1999 tiebreaker?
Al Leiter.
Yes. Always run them out. You can never tell. That was one of what legendary Yankees managers' 10 commandments for success in baseball?
Joe McCarthy.
Yes.
You've known all of these, right?
Positive about McCarthy there.
Yeah, this has been some bad luck for Andrew.
Yes. Perhaps we'll do a lightning round later with some 7-point cards to allow for some catch up. On July 10th,
it's unfortunate because my brother is constantly the last 20 years of my life. He's constantly saying Joe McCarthy was right, and so he's obviously studying this the manager of the Yankees in the 30s. He always says, if they had let McCarthy stay in charge, things would have been a lot better. And, I think Stangl did a pretty good job after he took over, but I guess my brother feels differently.
Andrew, you have an uncanny ability to do this, and it never ceases to crack me up. All right. On July 10th, 1999, what backup catcher's pinch hit single in the bottom of the ninth drove the tying and winning runs in as the Mets beat the Yankees 9-8 in one of the most memorable Subway Series games since the launch of interleague play?
Was that Todd Pratt again?
Andrew?
What year was this?
July 10th, 1999. Backup catcher.
So I was at this game. I don't remember who got the hit, though, and this is going to kill me. What backup catcher? 99. Who was the Mets backup catcher? You said it wasn't Todd Pratt, right? Or that was Dan's guess was Todd Pratt?
My guess was Todd Pratt, and that was incorrect.
I don't know who was. Oh, was it Benny Agbayani?
No, a gentleman by the name of Matt Franco.
Oh,
he did catch once in a while. Yeah, he was like their pinch hitter extraordinaire, but he did catch once in a while. That's a good point.
Okay.
I was actually at that game.
That's funny. All right. What Cardinals catcher hit a ninth inning home run to beat the Mets 3-1 in Game 7 of the 2006 NLCS?
Oh, that was Molina, right?
Yeah. That is correct. Yadier Molina, but that is absolutely. Okay, we now have a 2-point card here. In 2007, what Yankee became the ninth pitcher in Major League Baseball history to record 1,000 or more strikeouts as a member of two different teams?
Mike Mussina.
No.
Clemens?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot he was back there. I forgot that. At first, I was like Randy Johnson, but then I was like, that wouldn't have been. Oh, yeah, all right. Darn.
That's a tough one.
And by the way, Mussina would have been my guess, too.
Yeah, I guess he wasn't a strikeout pitcher, but yeah, I forgot Clemens came back for that.
Yeah, that's tough. In 2005, the Jets spent a second-round draft pick on what consensus All-American kicker out of Ohio State?
Nick Folk?
Andrew?
Nugent.
Correct.
They traded that year. They didn't have their first round draft pick because they traded it for Doug Jolly, and then in their second pick, they took a kicker who didn't end up being any good. Sorry, go ahead.
It's the Jets. It's what we expect. What pitcher earned his 25th win of the season in the 1978 one-game playoff between the Yankees and the Red Sox?
I believe that would be Ron Guidry.
You would be correct. What team did the 0-13 New York Jets beat on the road as a 17-point underdogs to get their first of 2 wins of the 2020 season?
They were 0-13 in 2020. I didn't remember they were that bad. 2020. 17-point underdogs. Pittsburgh?
See if Dan has anything.
Tampa Bay?
No, the Rams.
Interesting.
So
okay. Yeah. I forgot they were that bad in 2020.
Yeah, I've tried to block a lot of 2020 sports out, but yeah, me neither. I had no idea they were that bad.
The Rams ended up winning the Super Bowl in the 2020 season, right? Yeah.
No, 21.
It was a 21 season.
20 was Brady, your team, the Bucks.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, my adopted team for a year. We have a 3-point card here. Before embarking on his NFL coaching career, Bill Parcells spent one season, 1978, heading the football program at what school in Colorado Springs?
Air Force.
Yes, that is correct. Heralded as the next great New York City point guard, what eventual Knick was named New York State's Mr. Basketball in 1995, and played 1 year at Georgia Tech before declaring for the 1996 NBA draft?
Marbury.
Yes. What Michigan running back posted 700-yard games for the Oakland Raiders, 6 more than he did in 4 seasons with the Giants after they picked him up in the first round of the 1995 NFL draft?
Tyrone Wheatley.
That is correct.
I forgot he was on.
Never heard of
Giant
his.
tenure was brutal.
Game 2 of the 1997 ALDS. What rookie Yankees reliever blew a 1-0 lead to the Indians after being attacked by a swarm of insects?
Shouldn't that read 2007?
That did read 2007. What did I say? 97?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed to be.
Where they also lost the ALDS to the
Cleveland.
Indians.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a good point, but yes, yes, that I did mean 2007.
Joe Torre said his greatest regret as a manager was not having the game stopped. Jabba Chamberlain.
That is correct. That brings us to the end of this 3-point card, and we are now returning to a 7-point card. In a 1993 episode of Seinfeld, Kramer touches off a fantasy camp brawl by beaming what 3-time All-Star who played for the Yankees from 1962 to 1969?
Andrew has a magazine with him in it. Joe Pepitone.
That is correct. Andrew is not pleased that he's not getting these cards back and the questions back.
He posed in the cover of Playgirl, Joe Pepitone.
Oh, goodness gracious. What 2 men platooned at second base for the Mets during their championship season of 1986?
Wally Backman and Tim Tuffle.
Yep. Under defensive coordinator Tom Landry in 1956, the Giants became the first team in the NFL to implement a base 4-3 defense, largely to maximize use of what Hall of Fame linebacker?
Sam Huff.
Yep.
This is you would have gotten every single one of these, Andrew.
I don't know if I would have gotten the Pepitone one, but other than that, yes.
What Croatian Nets shooting guard died in a 1993 car accident at age 28 and was posthumously, I can't say that word for the life of me, enshrined in the Basketball Hall of Fame in 2002.
Drazen Petrovic.
All right, another 7-point card. What Knicks big man did the Miami PA announcer say had been extinguished when he fouled out of a 2012 playoff game, referring to a hand injury suffered when he punched a fire safety box in the locker room after a loss earlier in this series?
Amari Stoudemire.
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, that was after his half a useful season on the Knicks.
I remember you being hopeful for that season. What Giants linebacker rushed for 30 yards on a fake punt during the fourth quarter comeback of a win over San Francisco in the 1990 championship game?
Gary Reasons.
This feels too easy for you all to be 7-point questions here. What ESPN and Fox Sports personality starred at Florida State before starting at quarterback for the Giants 20 times from 1997 to 1998?
Danny Cannell.
Yes.
All right, I think we should give the board over to Andrew here for one last shot at things because this has been an
Down by 100.
You're down by quite a few. Would you like the score? Or would
It's
you
fine.
like? Okay, we'll just give it back.
We'll just if I get the next question, we'll call it a tie.
Exactly. This question for 700 points. In the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode, The Anonymous Donor, what Yankee player's jersey does Larry David lose at the dry cleaner?
Derek Jeter?
Joe Pepitone. I don't like that question. We're gonna go to another side.
Well, you know what? Though I should have made the connection if the Seinfeld episode was Joe Pepitone.
Yeah,
that's a fair point.
And the board should still be yours because I would have not gotten that one had it come to me. Maybe I would have guessed Joe Pepitone just for consistency's sake. But
all right, I'm pulling up another 7-point card, Andrew, for you to Unless you would prefer to go to a 1 or 2 point card to get it rolling.
7 is fine. He's better than me at this, but this is a little. This would not be this lopsided.
No, I fully agree. In 2015, what reliever's tenure with the Yankees began with a 30-game suspension for use of a firearm and the impact of that behavior on his partner?
Aroldis Chapman.
Correct. In 2018, what horse did Mike Smith ride to victory at the Belmont Stakes, defeating runner-up Gronkowski to become the 13th Triple Crown winner in history and the second to do so while undefeated?
What was the horse that won? American Pharoah?
No, Justify.
I think American Pharoah was the year before.
Sorry, I didn't even give you a chance to steal.
That's all right. My guess would have been American Pharoah also.
Okay.
All right, I think we can probably call it. This was fun. This has been fun.
Yeah, it was fun to watch.
Andrew,
yeah, no, like I said, I would have lost. I'm capable of a better showing than that. There's few questions I
think if we ever do this again, I think because the two of you can run the board for so long, we have to figure out a way to ask the question and one of you has to answer it before the other, because otherwise it does sort of feel like one of you could just take over.
My other idea, and I guess it would have to let either some time elapse or we'd have to find a different contestant. My other idea is that we do a thing where I get other sets of these cards for other cities, and we get like 4 or 5 people who are fans of different cities, and we do like a contest, but everybody answers the questions for their own city. So that's a potential future idea. So, but this was good. This was a nice little change of pace tonight. Yeah,
nice little, just kind of lighthearted, messing around a little. It was I did enjoy it all in all seriousness.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll be back with probably a more traditional episode pretty soon. And thanks to Allison for hosting for us yet again.
Anytime.
Yes.
I will always happy to guest host.
We'll have to do this again in another 4 years. All right. Well, we'll see. We'll talk to you soon. And until next time, I'm Dan Newman.
And I'm Andrew Newman. Goodbye, old sports.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com. Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, a.k.a. the Football History Dude, and I hope that you enjoyed this recent episode presented by the Sports History Network and were able to learn some good old-fashioned sports history knowledge nuggets. I started the Sports History Network back in 2020 with the mission to help podcasters find a community of like-minded sports history nerds, as well as helping aspiring podcasters to start their own shows. We have a little bit over 30 shows on the network right now covering all sorts of sports history, but as far as I'm concerned, we're just at the toothpick in the ocean moment, that can't even figure it out because there's so much more coming. We wanted to create the ultimate headquarters for sports yesteryear, starting with Podcast Network and our website, but we're going to continue to move into other mediums as well. And here's the cool part, because we want you to be part of our team. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or maybe being a guest on one of our shows, or who knows, maybe even writing an article for us over on the website. Seriously, all you gotta do is reach out to us on the contact page over at sportshistorynetwork.com. You can be as technologically savvy as a Neanderthal tapping on a stone trying to figure out this whole hieroglyphics thing back in the day. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you don't understand the whole podcast space, we have a production team that can pretty much help you out with doing everything. All you gotta do, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com, head to the contact page, fill it out. That message goes right to me, and I'll reach out to you as soon as I can. But for now, dude, I'm through if you're through.